p.m. That's a Blue Hornet, left Leatherleaf Drive headed toward Wolverhampton Road, containing one female, one male. They just broke into a house over there. They possibly have a gun.
Richard Miller, 230 Nassau Drive, reports a wallet taken from a car with driver's license and change purse.
The work of a police officer involves a number of unique emotional stresses which set him apart from those in most other occupations.
Assault and robbery armed. He's a black male, 6'1", 145 pounds, from Walnut Court.
Each officer must develop ways to monitor his own reactions to these pressures.
Connecticut registration, S. Sam.
There are other jobs in our society where the risk of injury or death is far higher than in law enforcement. Yet the police officer is alone each day in the awful knowledge that if he dies or is injured in the line of duty, it will almost certainly be because of the intentional action of another human being.
Longmeadow, Massachusetts. Public Safety Department advises 3 officers shot and killed, 4/1/76. Victim officer observed suspicious vehicle parked in a Longmeadow motel. Officers approached the motel and were shot with a shotgun.
This fact by itself places him under very real and constant emotional pressure. How does a police officer deal with the understandable anxiety he sometimes feels in the face of dangerous individuals and situations? What does he do in a society that does not expect fear among its policemen, that expects only the kind of boldness and courage portrayed in the work of a television cop? How does he deal with situations and individuals which fill him with uncertainty and fear in light of the expectation that he must always be in control, must always be sure, must never display fear or cowardice in the presence of danger?
In the face of situations which often arouse understandable feelings of fear, anxiety, and insecurity in police officers, as indeed the same events would arouse in any other human being, officers sometimes respond with a mental defense mechanism that psychologists call reaction formation. Reaction formation, very simply, involves the pushing out of awareness of one's true feelings in a situation. For a police officer, feelings of insecurity, anxiety, fear, and substituting other more acceptable emotions. Fear and anxiety, because they are unacceptable emotions to police officers, are often masked by surface emotions, which are intended to convince both the officers and those around them that they are in full control, that they are not anxious and fearful. For example, fear may be expressed in the form of reckless or unwise courage, which may expose the officer to unnecessary risks.
Well, the Red Sox finally won a game, Dick.
Yeah, they blew the last 7.
Yeah, they're playing lousy. Hope Green Bay wins this year.
Eddie, there goes that car involved in the Packer payroll robbery this morning.
Are you sure?
That's the plate number. That's it, Eddie. S10 to radio. We're in pursuit of that brown Plymouth scamp involved in that Packer payroll robbery this morning, heading south on Long Hill Street toward I-91 ramp.
Let's pull them over.
Are you kidding, Eddie? They're armed and dangerous. Let's wait for the troops to get here.
Shit, we can't wait for help. It'll take too long. We gotta pull them over now. If we don't pull them over now, we're gonna lose them.
Many police officers have needlessly lost their lives or were seriously injured simply because they couldn't accept within themselves normal human emotions, because they had to try and live up to the stereotype of the super cop, the he-man who never fears, who never has to depend on the strength of others to do his job. He may become arbitrary, authoritarian, badge-heavy in the eyes of citizens, to whom he feels obliged to demonstrate his ability and his control of the situation.
Let's have your license and registration.
Why, what did I do?
You ran the red light back there.
I ran a red light? I did not. You know, you ought to have your eyes examined.
I don't need my eyes examined, sir. You're going to need your wallet examined once I get done writing this ticket. Now, just give me
Expressions of hostility and disrespect from others, more than being personally offensive to the officer, may threaten to undermine his control of a situation. And every fiber of his being constantly tells him that he must remain in control at all costs. The anxiety an officer experiences at the prospect of losing control of a situation may therefore lead to overly aggressive behavior aimed at reassuring himself and those with whom he's dealing that he is firmly in control.
No. Officer, now
want
what?
to take them out? Or do I have to take
You know,
them out?
I happen to know my rights. Now, please
You're gonna
get your
right.
hand off him.
Now, either you give me the papers, pal, right this minute, or you go. I could care less.
The level of anxiety an officer experiences and his need to compensate for it through aggressive behavior may be greater in the presence of peers. Like others, he feels a need to conceal anxieties and inadequacies in the presence of those whose opinions matter to him. His need to prove himself and save face is often greater in their presence.
Peaceful drink. I worked all goddamn week. I don't give a shit. Where the hell you go with that goddamn? Leave it alone. Just give me a goddamn $10. Where the hell you go? Hey, get off my ass. I'm gonna finish my drink. Come on. What the hell's the matter with you guys? What? What the hell's the matter? Hey, what Hey, leave your money. Oh, big man, put it in your pocket. Oh, yeah, sure. Hey, bartender, set this bar up. It's on the head. Oh, yeah, big deal. Hey, come on now. God damn it. Hey, what? What's the matter with you? Hey, where do you think my wife? What's the matter? God damn it. Hey.
Because many aspects of his work are either dangerous or stress-provoking, a police officer typically evolves a variety of defense mechanisms aimed at neutralizing the anxiety they produce in him. The adoption of a callous, impersonal attitude in the face of tragedy is a case in point.
Oh, what a mess. What'd he get hit with anyway, a 25?
Christ, look at the side of it. It's got to be a 45 anyways.
You're both full of shit. It was a 38. The casing's right here. Son of a bitch, I guess you're right. Whatever it was, it did a hell of a job on it.
Because the frequent sight of death and human suffering is anxiety-provoking in any person, the police officer may seek to neutralize its effect on him, to remain in control of his own emotions and do the things he must. A police officer cannot summon the courage to perform many of the tasks he must face each day unless he somehow first manages to neutralize the anxiety they produce in him.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes.
A little bit of traffic.
I know it.
Damn rain start.
I know it.
Unit 714, a fight in progress at 816 Central, the Jamaica Club. Several subjects reportedly fighting with pool cues at this time. Unit 718, back 714.
Okay, 714, we got that call.
Even humor may, ironically, be summoned by police officers facing difficult or dangerous situations as a means of neutralizing inner tension and anxiety.
A few of them will be dead by the time we get there.
Showing these fears, even admitting their existence, is considered inappropriate by the officers themselves.
Hey, shut that light off down here. Use your flashlight.
What the hell's the matter with you?
Nothing. But you never know when there's going to be some asshole sitting up in any one of these project windows ready to shoot a cop.
What are you worried about?
Nothing. They just don't pay me enough to make a target out of myself.
Well, if you're losing your nerve, we can go talk to the captain. Maybe he can throw you on a 911 or even put you on a radio.
Police officers can seldom express such emotions as fear, anger, anxiety, and uncertainty directly toward the people and things that produce these feelings. But the need to release them remains.
Anybody hurt?
No.
Are the cars drivable?
Yes. Do you realize we've been waiting over 40 minutes?
Well, I've been really busy. We're straight out, really.
Some sort of service officer. Will I pay taxes for something like
I'm sorry. I'll get it going as fast as we can. Let me have your license and registration,
now, listen,
please.
it's hot out here. I've got a lot of things to do. This is very important.
Would you take it out of the holder, please?
Can't we duck all this? I got an
No,
appointment.
these are regulations, sir. I'm sorry. I'll go as fast as I can, really. I'll have you out of here in no time.
All right, officer.
I'll bet if it was his lunchtime, we'd have been through here in 15 minutes.
No, ma'am, it takes the same amount of time, really. I've already had lunch.
Well, here are my papers here. You can see they're in order.
All right, thank you.
Okay, why don't you make them out here and let me get out of here. It's hot.
We'll be done in a minute.
Okay, all right. Look, officer, can't we duck all this? I have a very important appointment.
Really, I'm going as fast as I can. I'm only going to be another minute. I've got to do everything in duplicate. You smoke, have a cigarette, relax. We'll be out of here in a minute.
Now, what is wrong with you?
What's the matter?
I can't read this report. My 8-year-old son could make a better report than this.
Well, I just wrote it up in a hurry. My pen was skipping.
Well, you've been on the department a long time. You know the courts won't allow any blue ink. Why don't you shape up?
Because he often feels blocked from directly expressing his true feelings, the officer may begin to vent the frustration that builds within him in the form of what psychologists call displaced aggression.
S95 to radio.
Go ahead, S95.
Give me a current check on MNX 875.
That was Mike, X-ray 875.
Oh, you dumb shit. That's Mike November X-ray 875. You got it this time? Hey, pal. When the sun goes down, it's nighttime. How about turning your lights on before somebody runs into you?
Sometimes the frustration and anger that occasionally builds within an officer may be expressed toward inanimate objects or the system of which he is a part, rather than against other people.
Everything's secured. Call it in as unfounded.
L65. 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 Ah, shit, this goddamn equipment ain't working right. This cheap-ass city, you'd think they care about us? I don't know how they expect us to get a goddamn thing done. Let's go.
Chronic frustration and anxiety of the sort routinely experienced by police officers may in time become converted into a sense of futility and cynicism directed toward the entire criminal justice system. The officer may lose faith in both the system and his role in it.
Anybody hold it? What? Hold it. You got the bag. That ain't my bag. I found it on the ground. I just want to see what was in it.
Oh, let's see what we got here. Narcotics paraphernalia.
Ain't mine.
Turkey, you're under arrest. Hey, you live around here?
Over on Benson.
What's your name, kid?
Hodges. Eddie Hodges.
All right, Eddie. Take off. See you again.
Okay.
Behave yourself, all right?
What are you doing? Where you letting him go? We had him cold.
Cold for what, man?
Possession.
Possession, my ass. There's no drugs in here. Just a lousy kid.
We still could have booked him for possession of narcotics paraphernalia.
What, go through all that paperwork for a lousy misdemeanor? What do you think will happen to him?
I still think we should be doing our job. That's what we're getting paid for.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what getting paid and doing your job is going to give you nothing but headaches. It's not worth it. You know, I used to be real gung-ho like you when I first come on a job. As a matter of fact, I remember when I first come on a job, my partner and I were down on Pearl Street. We got called for a drunken, disorderly guy. We went down there. The mob almost killed us, almost ran the cruiser off and grabbed my gun from me.
So what happened?
What happened? Nothing happened, that's what. We get to court, and the court let them plead the breach of the peace. And the guy that tried to grab my gun, felony assault on a police officer, they let him go.
I still think we should have busted him.
From now on, I'm just putting in my time, and I'm going to keep it at that. I'm not worrying about anything anymore. You understand? Okay.
Controlling external reactions of the kind we've been watching is difficult for some officers, but it's important that it be done. For every time, particularly when interacting with the average citizen, the officer leaves an impression that not only affects the image of the department, but more importantly, will determine the reactions of those same citizens with officers who come on duty at a later time.
S11.
S11.
Respond to the Windsor Court for a street gang. Note that will be a second call. One subject arrested earlier.
KS11.
How the officer reacted earlier affects their lives, their safety, not just his own. The effects of officers who display their understandable, but often self-destructive external reactions affect everyone they come into contact with. The same fears and cynicism that an officer displays at times are the responses the average citizen may feel.
Oh, thank God you're finally here. I've been worried sick for the last half hour. I'm sure I saw a prowler.
Look, don't blame me for being late. I'm the only car for 10 square miles.
What do you mean, the only car? You mean that you're all by yourself?
That's right, lady. Just me. You got a complaint? Go tell it to the mayor.
Well, look, officer, I'm sure I saw a prowler.
You sure? I mean, it couldn't have been a cat or a dog or something?
Well, I don't know it. No, I saw a shadow. No, I'm sure I saw a prowler.
We get this all the time. People think they see things.
Well, now, look, I know what I saw. I saw a prowler.
You know, just last week I was in the middle of a rape investigation.
A rape?
And we got the same exact kind of call. But as it turned out, it was just a raccoon in the guy's garage.
You mean that there are rapes in the neighborhood?
Well, last month we had 3.
Oh, my God.
Look, lady, obviously there is no one out here, so I suggest you just lock your door and leave your lights on, and that's it for the night, okay? So, goodbye.
Oh, my God. Oh.
It is essential for every officer to prepare himself to deal with the effects of his work. The wide range of human emotions that will surface in him and others from time to time. Ask yourself how successfully you deal with these emotions. Do you control them, or do they control you?